Thank you for clicking. It's starting now. Hello, I'm Hockey on Game Day. Today is November 27th. Today's game pick time is back. New works. Powerful updates. Fast forward to highlighting the 23 hottest games right now. The first-person horror cooperative shooting Phantom Line, developed by Anti-Static Studios. It is optimized for users who prefer team-based tactical fear, such as GTFO and The Last Trials. The studio has made a name for itself as a small experimental horror project. This time, the more intense concept of battle against invisible beings was set. Players act as special agents tracking supernatural anomalies in post-nuclear Europe. They need to detect invisible threats using equipment, analyze formless enemies, and subdue them. The key is not just fear, but the pressure combined with the team's movement, tactics, and sensor operation. The release date is March 5, 2026, PC Steam. Duckverse Studios' No Return. Darkos is a single-play action-adventure that connects the atmospheres of Max Payne and Alan Wake. The studio has an emotional and narrative-oriented indie action experience. In this work, the psychological narrative unfolding in a city eroded by darkness was emphasized. The main character, a police officer who lost his family, tries to get revenge by chasing a criminal organization. Cities are already encroached into supernatural darkness, and the source of events is in deeper layers, not human crimes. Combat is a rhythmic structure with a mixture of guns and close-up actions. Depending on the choice, the spirit of the main character and the ending of the city change. The release date is undecided, PC. RPG, Escape from Ever After, a modern version of the classic Paper Mario structure. The fairy tale book world is taken over by Megacorp and has a unique setting in which exploitation begins. The development team has previous experience producing comic RPGs. This work combines satire, humor, and animation production to enhance its completeness. The main character is a storybook hero, but he learns about the company's exploitation and joins forces with the rebels. Skills add wit to traditional RPGs, such as paper-shaped changes and timing input-based battles. The journey is centered on breaking down the structure of the company and regaining the freedom of the book world. The story is very dense. Release date is January 23, 2026. First-person psychological fear deck builder. Inferius is an original horror experience that combines the sensibility of enscrambling and amnesia. The development team has experience making dark fantasy card games. This time, the deck building was completely integrated with narrative, exploration, and fear. The player goes around the 9 territories of hell, reflecting forgotten sins. Using lanterns and arcana cards, they encounter bizarre beings. The pressure that builds up during the expedition, the strengthening of cards, which symbolize the record of sin, and different horror productions in each area, are combined to constantly shake the psychology. It's not just a card game, but you have to gather pieces of memories and sins to recover your identity to escape. The release date is 2026, PC. Combining the dinosaur ecosystem and FPS survival, Ferocious is a work that inherits Far Cry Prime, Turok's genealogy. Developers have tried ecosystem-based actions before, and this time, they have greatly expanded physical and environmental interactions. A world where dinosaurs and ecosystems are twisted is at the center of a flood of corporate biological experiments on remote islands. The player is driven to survive, and to the truth is a mercenary. Above all, the Dino Control device, which scans and controls specific dinosaurs, is a key strategic element. Beyond simple combat, it is possible to target 3-dimensional objects using animal behavior patterns. The release date is undecided. Set during the Napoleonic times, the first-person soul-like Valor Mortis has a unique mood that puts dark fantasy on top of historical facts. The development team has been dealing with hardcore proximity actions before. In this work, weapon weight, pairing timing, and physical fitness management work as key mechanisms for survival. The atmosphere is close to modern antique soul-like, such as Lies of P, Thymesia. Unknown monsters appear throughout the city at night, and the battlefield deviates from historical records. The player traces the secret experiments that took place in the shadow of the Napoleonic Wars. The cause of the spread of an unknown red plague should be identified. In a mixed world where weapons, medicine, and alchemy coexist, the protagonist is in conflict between his beliefs as a soldier and researcher and his decision to survive. The release date is scheduled for 2026. Glasshouse is a noir-based, turn-based CRPG that takes place in a lockdown condominium just before the World War. The developer has consistently produced story-oriented RPGs that deal with social structures and human psychology. This work combines the elements of Disco Elysium and Wasteland. The characteristic of the game is the extreme setting of a closed space, where all residents monitor each other, and conspiracy and distrust are intertwined. The player is not an outside agent investigating the suspicious case, but as an inner wife. You have to constantly decide who you trust for survival. The selection of lines and skill checks make the narrative completely different. The key is an isolated political game that takes place in a limited number of floors and rooms. In the midst of a crisis, when the flames of the world war may reach, players must control the temptations, violence, cooperation, and betrayal that spread within the building. Release date undecided. Steam playtest in progress. Northern Viking Strategy Tower Defense Hordeguard. Winds of the North is a work of sensibility between Kingdom Rush and They Are Billions. The developer has a strong RTS and survival strategy games, so the village defense structure is quite tight. Players will collect resources, recruit combat troops, strengthen villages, and more in stages. Every time a wave of monsters comes, an immediate response strategy should be implemented. The difference in this game is time pressure, and as the sun goes down, the enemies become stronger. The more the clock ticks, the more fatal the mistake of choice results. In addition, the local cooperative mode allows you to share your village operations with your friends, making tactical division of labor play attractive. Players become the last guardians to protect the survival of their species amid the threat from the northern snowlands. Release date undecided. The cute 3D sandbox platform game, Mojito Woody's Rescue, features indie's unique delight and exploration-oriented structure. Developers have experience with casual titles centered on puzzles and adventures. This work embodies the sensibility of Mario Odyssey and A Hat in Time more lightly. The main character Mojito adventures various themed worlds to rescue his friend Woody, who has been kidnapped by evil cucumbers. Each level modernizes classic platform actions, such as jumps, springs, and slides. The collection elements and puzzle sections are arranged rhythmically. The cute character design and bright color tone make it easy for anyone to immerse themselves. Hidden zone exploration naturally stimulates the player's curiosity. It is a healing adventure centered on small stories, and the whole production has the softness of watching an animated short. Release date not decided. Shark Dentist is a unique genre experimental work that combines log-like, fear, and simulation. The developer is a small studio, but he is familiar with strange concept games. In this work, we have also created an original structure that goes beyond simple fear and replaces the therapy process itself with combat. The player becomes a dentist treating the teeth of a giant shark in a dark clinic, but the shark can attack suddenly at any time. Each treatment step is performed in a log-like manner with random elements. The tools used, the order of treatment, and the risk aversion are changed every time. It analyzes shark attack patterns, checks the timing of opening its mouth. Dental action to survive, with limited resources, provides an experience of a strange mix of humor and fear. Release date undecided. Action RPG Helgnar the Conqueror is a modern reconstruction of the classical fantasy romance, such as dragon boarding, large-scale conquests, and monster hunting. Developers, Helgnar Studio is an indie team that has consistently researched medieval fantasy-based combat and exploration systems. In this work, dragon control and aerial warfare-based combat appear as key differences. The player becomes Helgnar the Conqueror and travels throughout the continent in a legendary dragon, war against the Great Beast, the Undead Army, and the Ancient Kingdom. The genre is a combination of Dragon's Dogma, Skyrim, and Warframe-style fast combat. The use of terrain through aerial maneuvers creates the depth of battle. Development will be carried out through the Indiegogo campaign. The story is a fateful revenge drama about the last general of an empire that is going to collapse and takes power against fate. The release date is undecided. PS5, XSX, SPC. Get Colossal is a cinematic action-oriented work in which huge mechas collide, destroying the city. The developer is an animation-based team specialized in robot and combat production. This time, it combined real-time combat and destruction simulations to game a moving disaster movie. Players choose various pilots and mecha to participate in the battle against the backdrop of the city. Each mecha has a completely different weapon, mode of movement, and special skills. Even if you don't have previous experience, you can easily adapt because it feels like Pacific Rim, Mach Warrior, and Override. The characteristic is that urban and environment are part of the battle, and the combat strategy changes every moment the building collapses and the road splits. The narrative is the process by which mankind builds a defense system against the early Colossus, mutated by a giant energy explosion. The playtest will be held from November 22nd to 23rd, 2025. The official release date has not been determined. The large MMORPG, Ashes of Creation, is a work that puts complex social systems and dynamic world changes at its core. Developer Intrepid Studios has long designed a PvX structure that combines narrative, politics, construction, and war. Alpha 2's Return to Verra depends on the player's choice. It also shows a sandbox-type giant world in which the city, economy, and ecology are completely different. Similar games are a combination of some of the structures of Black Desert, Archeage, and Final Fantasy XIV. The story is the process by which Verra, the fallen Earth, is revived in the ashes of ancient civilizations. The player directly designs the fate of the world as an explorer, a guide, and a political force. Each region has an ancient mystery, invasion, and node growth system, so even with the same server, the world develops in a completely different form. Alpha 2 release date is December 11, 2025, Steam Early Access. Zoopunk is an extended action RPG prequel that covers the past of the FIST worldview. Developer T Games is known for its fast combo action. This work also strongly depicts the eve of the revolution in the animal city of Torch City. The genre is a combination of speedy close combat and cyberpunk elements in the style of Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. The story depicts the era of the First Torch War, the moment when the Pyro, the energy of fire, brings technological development and catastrophic destruction at the same time, and the machine empire is born. Animal species repeat conflict, resistance, and solidarity to protect the city against the oppressive mechanical army. Combos, skill roots, and weapon modifications are important for action. Animal Funk's unique sensibility is depicted rougher and darker than before. Release date undecided. PC, PS5, PS5 Pro, XSX. Hoyo vs. Next Generation flagship title, Varsapura, is an ultra-high-quality action and narrative-oriented game based on Unreal Engine 5. It is a combination of escape, gauntlet, and urban exploration. Developers have already proven their global top-level technology in directing, motion, and narrative through the Wanshin and Collapse series. In this work, a secret organization called Shadow Bureau and a special organization called Seal deal with supernatural events taking place behind the city. Players use umbrella weapons as their basic equipment, combine stealth, proximity, and magic attacks organically to deal with the enemy. In the video, a new fighting style in which the auxiliary character uses the book as a weapon. High-quality productions such as car chase scenes are confirmed. The story flows into a tense conspiracy play in which the secret of dimensional fusion is revealed in the shadows of the city. Release date undecided. 1 to 4 person cooperative gas station simulator Roadside Research is not just a store-run game. It is based on the strange setting that alien must infiltrate human society and then perform daily tasks without being caught. Developers Cybernetic Walrus and Oregon Interactive have previous experience combining experimental simulations with unique humor sensibilities. This work also stands out in its dual structure, which simultaneously operates a real gas station and performs secret alien missions. Players can do inventory, fill up, clean up, serve customers, etc. to mimic humans. A variety of devices and camouflage systems must be used to hide the identity of aliens. If you cooperate with your friends, you can share roles. The process of overcoming the crisis of identification due to each other's mistakes reinforces the fun of the game. It is a unique atmosphere that combines bright comic production and cybernetic design. It even has access to the Xbox Game Pass, which will be released on the first day of its release. The release date is scheduled for 2026 Xbox Series X SPC. 7 First Light is a reimagining of the James Bond series style, in line with the modern action game structure. In this trailer, Aston Martin's Valhalla appears in earnest, highlighting the core aesthetics of spy action. The development team has the know-how to melt cinematic production and vehicle chase sequences into real-time play. The production direction is a mixture of Forza Horizon's cinematic texture and Hitman's infiltration structure. Players must cross vehicles, infiltration, close proximity, and tool utilization according to the mission, and create Bond's unique, sophisticated confusion. The story is about new Agent First Light being linked to international threats. It follows a traditional Bond structure that travels across countries. It also includes elements that systematically grow high-end equipment, spy technology, and special vehicles. The release date is March 27, 2026, PS5, XSX, SPC, Switch 2, Cloud. Armatus, a third-person villainous shooting game set in Paris, occupied by the devil. The entire city deals with supernatural disasters that twist through the gate of hell. The development team is proficient in wave-type combat, close-up plus shooting mixed actions. In this work, we have completed a speedy battle by combining fast dash, medium-range magic, and weapon conversion systems. The player becomes the last supernatural warrior left to close the sunless door. It intertwines with survivors, monsters, and aristocratic forces in each region to uncover the secrets of Paris. Similar games conjure up the surreal battle structure of the Remnant series or Control. A combination of colorful effects, medieval demonology-based settings, and Paris urban topography creates a unique atmosphere. The release date is 2026, PS5, XSX, X, Switch 2, PC, Xbox Cloud. Action Adventure Tides of Annihilation is a battle-oriented game based on the original worldview of a mirror-folded kingdom. The developer is strong in quick action and strong character. In this work, we implemented a structure in which 2 main characters are played alternately through a dual frontline system. Because the fighting style of the knight who uses a spear, Lamorak, and Gwendolyn, the protagonist who uses magic and shape transformation, is completely different. Boss pattern analysis and positioning are key strategies. The story is about Tyleno, the Witch of Shaping, twist the world to create an inverted mirror world. It contains a journey to reveal its essence. Combat and directing are a mixture of classic fantasy and modern action. Destructive magic and brutal close combat lead to cinematic. Release date has not been determined. PC, PS5, XSX. Raji. Kaliyuga is the formal successor to the action-adventure Raji, ancient epic, which is based on Indian mythology. Developer Nodding Heads Games has shown deep research into mythology and artwork in its previous work. In this work, Raj and her brother Darsh, who grew up 6 years later, appear together. The battle extended from equidistant action to third person. Large uses acrobatic close combat centered on Trishul, and Darsh uses CD power, the ability to manipulate time, gravity, and energy. Switch play of the two characters is an important key factor. Asura warlord Mahabalasura unsealed the sky, creating a cosmic war. The Raj must choose their fate among the great narratives involving God, Asura, and humans. The unique aesthetics and vast art style of Indian mythology are very impressive. Release date has not been determined. PS5, XSXS, Xbox, on PC. Jurassic Park. Survival is a first-person action-adventure survival developed by Saber Interactive. It is a work that strongly combines cinematic production and realistic fear. As developers have strengths and actions that utilize large-scale environments such as World War Z and SnowRunner, encounters with dinosaurs are designed with unpredictable tension. The player becomes a survivor, Dr. Maya Josh, who must survive on an isolated island. They will explore unknown habitats, abandoned research facilities, and control areas of predators. The core of the game is flee and hide rather than battle, and dinosaurs such as Tyrannosaurus and Velociraptor need to understand their habits, sounds, and movement patterns to survive. The genre reminds me of the experiential survival between Alien, Isolation, and Tomb Raider. A structure that traces the truth of events by discovering the secrets and research records of the island. We will faithfully inherit the movie's worldview. The release date is undecided, PS5, XSXPC. ARK, Lost Colony, a side co-developed by Studio Wildcard, Grove Street Games, and Instinct Games. A new extension of the ARK worldview, set in the harsh winter biome of Arat Prime. Players can meet apex winter predator, Oshiden, with both fear and power in person. This creature requires a completely different strategy from the existing ARK ecosystem. The developer maintains the survival, collection, production, and dinosaur taming structure of the ARK series tradition. We have added new ways of surviving in freezing temperatures and multi-layered environmental threats. The story follows experiments in forgotten colonies and clues about ecological collapse. The depth of the expansion pack is increased with the addition of large maps, frozen storm systems, new equipment, and fellow creatures. The release date is December 16, 2025, PS5, XSX, SPC. Tales of Berseria Remastered is a modern recreation of Bandai Namco's masterpiece action RPG. The emotional lines and plural narratives of the previous work will be refined and reintroduced to PS5, XSS, Switch, and PC. The original was highly praised for its intense character and combat rhythm. This remaster has greatly improved the resolution, motion, lighting, and cutscene production. The player becomes a velvet Crore, loses his brother, jumps into the avenues of revenge, and sails across the land of Migan with the pirates. The battle is a combination of Soul-style hitting and Tails' unique freedom combo. Each fellow character's past and wounds densely fill the entire narrative. The story flows to the deep theme of the boundary between humanity and evil, and the remastered cutscene greatly boosted emotional delivery. The release date is February 27, 2026. The 10 worlds introduced today all have different colors and emotions. It was enough to leave a small mark on our day. What kind of work is your pick? Please leave comments. Join us for tomorrow's game picks with subscription and notification settings. This was Hockey from the Game Day.